What if the key to understanding your soul was already flowing through your veins? Not in your mind, not in your memories, but in something more ancient, more silent. Your blood. It sounds impossible at first, but Jung once said, the soul hides in the most unexpected places. And what could be more overlooked than the quiet rhythm of your heartbeat, pulsing with a type, a code, a mystery, A, B, AB, or O? Have you ever felt like there's a part of you that even you don't fully know, a pattern that keeps showing up in your life, an inner pull towards something or someone you can't explain? You're not imagining it. You're not alone for feeling this way. And maybe, just maybe, your blood knows something your mind hasn't remembered yet. Because Carl Jung believed that our lives are not just shaped by chance, but by powerful symbols we carry within us, symbols that guide our path, our pain, and our becoming. Today, we're going to listen closely to one of those symbols, the one that's been there since the day you were born. Your blood type, not as science, not as superstition, but as symbol. Because when seen through Jung's eyes, these 4 simple letters aren't just biological facts. They might be the secret voice of your soul, whispering who you were always meant to become. If this touched something inside you, let me know in the comments. I read them all. Are you ready to hear what your blood has been trying to tell you all along? In every culture across time, blood has never just been blood. It's been sacrifice. It's been loyalty. It's been legacy. It's been life itself. Think about it. In myth, blood seals oaths. In stories, it marks the chosen ones. In rituals, it's the offering that connects heaven and earth. And Jung would have seen all of this not as coincidence, but as the psyche, revealing itself through collective patterns. Because to Jung, the unconscious doesn't speak in facts. It speaks in symbols, in colors, in dreams, in blood. Your blood type is like a signature, not written by your hand, but by something older, something deeper. It doesn't define your soul, but it might hint at its direction. In Japan, long before modern psychology, people noticed something. That blood types seemed to match personalities. That type A people were more structured. That type B felt freer. That ABs were enigmas. And type O, leaders. At first, science brushed it off, but Jung would have paused. He would have said, look closer. Not because it's scientifically proven, but because it shows a recurring truth. That our biology might carry metaphors for our becoming. These are not categories. They're archetypes, symbolic roles we play, not to be boxed in, but to be awakened, because every person has a core rhythm, a way they breathe through life, a way they confront fear, love, pain, and possibility. And maybe your blood type is the first soft whisper of that rhythm. Let's explore it. Gently, not to label you, but to meet a part of you you might have forgotten. Let's begin with the blood type that builds the world from the ground up. If your blood type is A, you may have always felt the need to organize the chaos, to make sense of the mess, to fix, to plan, to protect. You're probably the one who remembers the small things, who anticipates what others overlook, who carries a quiet strength that doesn't need to shout to be felt. In Jungian terms, you hold the sage energy, the archetype that sees the world through clarity, pattern, and principle. You might feel deeply, but rarely impulsively. You think first. You prepare. You build emotional safety for yourself and for others. Your gift is stability. But Jung would gently remind you, every gift casts a shadow. For you, that shadow might be perfectionism, a fear of chaos so deep that you over-control, overthink, over-worry. You might feel responsible for everyone, while quietly neglecting your own heart. The path forward is not abandoning order, but making peace with unpredictability, letting go, not of values, but of needing everything to go exactly as planned. Because life isn't a formula, it's a dance. And sometimes, the most beautiful step is the one you didn't choreograph. Have you ever felt torn between keeping control and just letting life flow? If yes, share just one word in the comments. Someone might feel that too. Now, from the Calm Planner, we move into the heart of spontaneity. If your blood type is B, you might have always been drawn to the unknown, to ideas that didn't fit in boxes, to people who danced to their own rhythm, to paths that looked more like rivers than roads. You are the pulse of freedom, the spark of movement, the story that refuses to end where it began. In Jung's language, you carry the explorer, or perhaps the rebel archetype, a psyche that learns not through instruction but through experience. You live through intuition. Your heart speaks in feelings, not facts. And your gift is creativity, not just in art, but in how you see life, how you solve problems, how you forgive, how you fall in love again after being broken. But even explorers have shadows, and yours might be restlessness. You might leave before the lesson has time to teach. You might fear stillness, because in stillness the deeper self rises. Jung would say, freedom is not the absence of roots, it's choosing where to plant them, intentionally, consciously, because your soul doesn't fear depth, it just fears being trapped. And the medicine for that is realizing that commitment doesn't have to be a cage, it can be a vessel, a sacred container for your growth. When you learn to stay, not everywhere, but in the right place, with the right people, with your own self, that's when your gift blooms into wisdom. This space is yours too. If your heart whispered something, during this part, write it below. Now, what happens when structure and freedom live inside the same soul? Let's explore the rarest of them all. Type AB. If your blood type is AB, you might have spent your life feeling like two people in one body. You love logic, but your heart feels everything. You crave freedom, but you find comfort in plans. You see both sides, and sometimes that leaves you torn in the middle. But Jung would not call you confused. He would call you complex. A soul standing at the edge of opposites, not to choose one over the other, but to transform them into something higher. This is the alchemist archetype, the one who blends elements that others think cannot mix. Discipline and emotion, chaos and clarity, masculine and feminine, shadow and light. You carry the energy of integration. You understand people, even when they don't understand themselves. You feel their pain, you translate their silence, you hold space for contradictions that most reject. But your path isn't easy, because when you hold so many truths inside, you might forget to anchor into your own truth. You might become what others need, while slowly drifting from what you are. Jung would say, your task is not to pick a side. Your task is to become the vessel that holds both, without losing your center. You're not meant to fit in. You're meant to be the bridge between the seen and unseen, between what is and what could be. Even a simple can be the beginning of healing. If you felt pulled between two worlds, you're not alone here. Now, from the soul of paradox, we journey into something primal, something ancient, the original bloodline. Let's meet the energy of type O, the hero within. If your blood type is O, you carry the mark of something ancient, something primal, something foundational. This is the oldest blood type in evolutionary terms, the origin, the root, the beginning. And with it often comes the spirit of the warrior, or the hero. You may find that you act before you speak, feel driven when others hesitate, and crave purpose like it's oxygen. You likely carry presence, a natural confidence, not always loud, but unmistakable. Jung would say you embody the archetype that protects, the one who moves toward the fire, who stands between danger and the ones they love. Your strength is not just physical, it's energetic. You move through the world like a current, cutting through noise, carving through doubt. But even heroes bleed. Because when power isn't balanced with softness, it can turn into force. When confidence forgets to listen, it can become pride. When decisiveness leaves no room for vulnerability, the soul begins to armor itself, even from love. Jung would remind you, the greatest strength is not to win, but to remain whole. You're not here to conquer the world. You're here to understand what truly matters. And sometimes that means pausing, sitting with the feelings that action can't fix, letting someone see you, not as protector, but as person. Because your deepest courage is not in fighting battles. It's in choosing which ones are worth your heart. If this helped you see a new side of yourself or someone you love, tell me below. Your words might be the light someone else needs. Now, we've walked through the energy of each blood type, A, B, AB, and O. Not as boxes, but as mirrors, as archetypes, as invitations. But what does this all mean for your life? Let's gently return to the question we began with. Your blood type is not a cage, it's a compass, not a definition, but a direction. Jung believed that the journey of life isn't about becoming something you're not. It's about remembering who you've always been, beneath the noise, beneath the patterns, beneath the roles you were told to play. What if your blood has been quietly echoing that truth? Not shouting, not demanding, just whispering, through personality quirks, emotional rhythms, relational patterns, the subtle signs you felt but couldn't explain. Maybe you're not too sensitive. Maybe you're the alchemist, feeling the whole world in order to transmute it. Maybe you're not too controlling. Maybe you're the sage, craving structure because your soul wants to build peace. Maybe you're not too free-spirited. Maybe you're the explorer, born to challenge the edges so others may follow. Maybe you're not too intense. Maybe you're the hero, carrying an instinct that protects more than just yourself. Jung would say, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. But now, you've looked, you've listened, you've remembered, you've taken a step, not toward changing who you are, but toward understanding why you are, and that's not small. That's sacred. So what is your blood truly saying? It's saying, you are here for a reason. You have patterns worth exploring, not erasing. You are not random. You are not broken. You are a symbol, living, breathing, becoming. And in Jung's world, symbols are the bridge between the soul and the self. If this video spoke to something deep inside you, like a truth you always felt, but never had words for, like the voice of your inner self finally being heard, then let it continue. Like this video, if it felt like coming home to yourself. Comment your story, your blood type, your reflection, or even just a word. Your words might be the healing someone else was waiting for. And subscribe for more reflections like this. Gentle, symbolic, soulful, and maybe share this with the person your heart quietly thought of as you listened. The one you know is also searching for meaning in silence. Because sometimes, our greatest healing comes from a single sentence, spoken in the right moment. Your blood flows with more than oxygen. It flows with meaning, with memory, with myth, and now, with awareness. Let it guide you home.